Are men the price? This question, yeah, probably triggered somebody's uncle or shook the WhatsApp group. But let's talk about it. Because in the Nigerian cycles, especially, there is this growing idea that women are the one rushing men. They will say that them they rush us. There is this idea that men are the prize everyone is trying to win. And I just want to unpack where that even came from in the first place. In traditional Nigerian society, the woman is the prize. She came with a bride price, ceremonial fanfare, and the idea that our chastity and beauty were gifts to our husband's family. Fast forward to today, and somehow the narrative has flipped. Now it is men, especially financially stable men, over 30, gym attending, Benz driving men, that are saying things like, it is women that are desperate to get married. Some of them are branding themselves as hot commodities in the relationship market. And unfortunately, a lot of women have internalized this belief too. But here's my question. Who crowned them the price? Who gave men this inflated sense of self-worth? And why do we allow them to run with it? I remember when I was single, I remember the pressure. It wasn't subtle either. It was loud, persistent, and honestly, exhausting. Everyone has something to say about my singleness. People will constantly pray for me to find a husband. They were not praying for peace, joy, or even money. I needed more money. The prayer was all about husband. God will do it. By this time next year, you too, you will find your husband. And after a while, it became annoying, honestly. It felt more nosy than noble. And I know they meant well. But it was as if my life was on hold and their prayer was the elevator music until the husband arrived. And then there were the setups. Everyone had a nephew or cousin or uncle's neighbor's brother that just relocated to Canada. They would tell me, he's single and he's a really nice guy. Should I connect you? As if I was a LinkedIn profile instead of a person. I was constantly reminded that time was ticking. And in the background of all this noise, I started dating this guy. He was charming at first, the usual. Had a good career, was well educated, goes to church regularly. But I noticed something. The way he would always talk about his sisters who were in their late 20s. He would say things like they are desperate for husbands, and he would say it with a dismissive air, as if women that were crossing 30 were losing their value by the minute. Looking back, I think that belief shaped how he treated me. Somewhere in his mind, he assumed I was desperate. He thought I wouldn't leave even if he messed up, because in his world, men are the prize. So when he did mess up and I kicked him to the curb, he was shocked, absolutely stunned. It wasn't just the action that offended me, it was the mindset behind the action. He didn't believe I was going to walk away. He didn't believe I was going to leave the relationship. He thought I would settle out of fear, but he learned the hard way. This is what happens when men internalize a culture that inflates their value and deflates women. It's not even about that one man, it's about the system that raised him. The idea that women are desperate and men are the prize isn't just arrogant, it is damaging. It creates a relationship based on power plays, not partnership. It reduces marriages to status symbol, not a covenant. And let's be honest, some women are in a rush, but not necessarily out of desperation. Some are just vocal about what they want. Some are tired of waiting on emotionally unavailable men who think they are doing a woman a favor by just texting back. But a woman desiring marriage does not mean she's desperate. And a man having options doesn't mean he's valuable. Sometimes you're just loud. Let's bring it back to scriptures because altars and agendas is about faith and culture. Genesis 2 says, "It is not good for man to be alone. So God made woman, not as a prize, not as a servant, but as a helper suitable for him." The same Bible that tells wives to submit is the same Bible that tells husbands to lay down their lives. There is no prize in a race where both people are meant to finish together. I am not a trophy. You are not a trophy. We are partners in purpose, equal heirs in grace. So, are men the prize? Honestly, no, not by default. Not because they are men or because some of them are surrounded by women who have been made to feel like their worth expires at 30. If you're a man listening to this, I hope you check your mindset. Don't let culture convince you that being pursued is more valuable than being loving, humble, and faithful. And if you're a woman, especially a single woman, I hope you remember that your desire for love is valid, but you're not desperate. You're discerning, you're valuable, and you can choose too. Thank you for listening to Authors and Agendas today. If this episode gave you something to think about, then please share. And remember, faith and culture are always in tension. That is where we live. That is where we grow. Catch you next time.